how a CIA base works. Let's get into it.
Jane Smith is sitting on a Lufthansa machine bound to Frankfurt, Germany. She empties her second glass of red wine and fastens her seatbelt because the plane is about to land. When Jane exits the aircraft, she goes straight to customs. She shows the officer her American passport. It's black. "Why are you here?" the officer asks. "Supporting technical consultations at the consulate," Jane responds. The officer stamps her passport, and she passes through. Jane grabs some euros from an ATM, takes a cab to a nearby hotel, and checks in. You see, Jane lied a little just now, during the customs check. She is not working for a consulate, and despite her passport, she is no diplomat. Jane is a CIA agent, a hacker. She is visiting a covert base of her agency, secretly set up within the American consulate in Frankfurt. But this base, in the heart of Europe, is just one of a giant network spanning all across the globe.
I actually wonder, how many bases do you think the CIA has? Like, if they're set up in consulates, that's like one per country, okay? Do you think there are other bases? Like, I wonder how many other bases are actually really secretive that we might find them in 100 or so years. You know, we'd just be like, oh yeah, well, the history of this building was actually, it used to be a CIA building. And everyone's going to be like, wow, that's so cool. And we're just going to walk past it now in our daily lives. I think that'd be so. Also, I'm really interested to see how many CIA buildings there would be in the country of America, because I know they're meant to be foreign intelligence, and you have the FBI for local. But I don't know, they've been messing around here in America sometimes a little too often for my liking. I'm just saying.
Jane enters the hotel room and drops off her bags. She was prepared for this trip. She's been given instructions on how to get around in Frankfurt. Stores are closed on Sunday, gas stations are not a good place for fine dining, stuff like that. We all know this.
Gas station's not a good place for fine dining. Jane, if you're a CIA agent, I don't know. Do you need that in your briefing? If you're a CIA agent, you need to be told gas stations are good for fine dining? I don't know. Maybe these guys are overrated now. Let's see.
This thanks to the extensive leaks called Vault 7 from a few years back. Generally, this video largely relies on leaked information and statements of retired agents. It was a 9-hour flight from Washington, D.C. to Frankfurt. Jane is pretty exhausted and takes a shower. She is very careful not to leave anything that could identify her unattended. She takes her phone and laptop with her to the bathroom. Freshly dressed.
You serious? Can you imagine? Oh, that'd be so boring. I'd be like, also, what if you're getting out of the shower and you're singing, dancing, you're doing a little disco, you got a little, concert going, and then water splashes on your laptop. CIA issued laptop. Actually, I was going to say it might be destroyed, but CIA issued stuff has to be waterproof for sure. Come on. Imagine if they just use like standard stuff. That'd be really embarrassing. Agent, why do you need another laptop? Well, you see, I was singing some Sabrina Carpenter in the shower, and the water went everywhere, sir. It was such a good rave. Oh, okay, Agent. Yeah, good explanation. Nice one. Good work out there.
Dressed, Jane takes the U5 subway towards Pollingesheim. She gets off at Gießener Straße, just a few hundred meters north from the consulate. Frankfurt hosts the largest U.S. consulate in the world. Officially, it is serving American residents in the region, but in truth, it is doing much more than that. At the main gate, Jane shows her black passport and is handed a yellow visitor's badge. She follows the signs to the employee entrance alongside the consulate building on the left. Jane holds up her yellow badge at the door and is buzzed into the building by a guard. Inside the building, Jane walks through a number of corridors and through a large heavy door to Post 1. A U.S. Marine is waiting behind a glass window. Jane gives her the yellow badge, and she gets a blue one instead. Jane can finally enter her new office and get to work. She calls her person of contact and gets to know the other agents at the station.
That's kind of cool. I can't lie. That's kind of cool. You get a little badge swap. You go to talk to the Marines. Hey, very nice.
In 2013, news broke that the U.S. spied on then German Chancellor Angela Merkel's private phone for over 10 years.
The NSA may have been spying on Chancellor Angela Merkel.
A spokesman for the German leader described the idea as
totally unacceptable.
The operation was run by the so-called Special Collection Service, a spy unit of the NSA and CIA. Officially, it does not exist. Unofficially, it is running spy operations from almost 100 U.S. embassies all across the world.
Almost 100 U.S. embassies. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? I'd hate to be a politician and then just find out 10 years later my phone was bugged. That. Also, what are they hoping to find on there? Like, it'd just be, I swear, it'd be so boring. I can't imagine. You go through the whole process of being a CIA guy. Finally, you get sent out somewhere, and then, oh, okay, we're gonna monitor this guy's phone, and then it's just me watching, like, you know, YouTube videos, and that's it. Like, it's so boring. Oh my goodness. Poor guys, honestly. What a life.
Including Frankfurt. But Jane works for another unit here. She works for the European branch of the Center for Cyber Intelligence, the CIA's hacking division. Jane and others are developing cyber weapons. There are over 1,000 hacking systems and several hundred million lines of code in the CIA's arsenal. Some of these hacking tools are extremely powerful. The CIA could turn devices from Apple, Google, Samsung, and many others into secret microphones. There are tools that bypass encryption from messengers like WhatsApp, Signal, or Telegram, allowing the agency to collect text and voice messages. But there are...
My goodness, that's always the danger, isn't it? You always hear like, oh, Telegram, WhatsApp, it's all double encrypted, no one can touch it. It's like, you know, we talk about America here, you know, the CIA. If they want to do something, they can do something. I don't think they're going to ask twice. They're definitely not going to need your thumbprint to open the phone. Like, come on, buddy, be realistic here.
But there are also attack systems like fine dining, which only work from up close. This is where Frankfurt's strategic location comes into play. The Schengen Agreement allows Jane to travel from Frankfurt to almost any European country without border control. If Jane wanted to penetrate high-security targets that are not connected to the internet, she could simply take a train, stick a USB drive loaded with malware into a target PC, and be back in Frankfurt by supper. Jane...
Is that what you call fine dining? My goodness. Okay. That's true, actually. In Europe, once you're in Europe, or if you have a European passport, you have a thing called freedom of movement. It's the same in the US, where between the states, you're not checked. Basically, all the European nations have open borders. So that's kind of controversial for stuff like immigration. It makes immigration very difficult to control, especially if different countries have different immigration policies. Then there's really no substitutes there. But it's actually great for holidays, I can't lie. You can just go to France, you can go into Germany one day, you can go to Switzerland the other day, you can go to Italy the next day. Like, great fun, honestly, go for it. Interrating through Europe is one of the biggest things. You buy this pass for a year, and it's quite expensive, but you can get on any train using that pass in the entirety of Europe. So you can literally travel, you can land in Paris, you can go to Romania, through Switzerland, through Czech Republic, through Ukraine, through all of these countries. I mean, maybe not Ukraine, I'd probably stay away from Ukraine right now, but all the other ones you'll be fine. Enjoy, you know, it's good fun. It's good fun.
Jane is a very talented hacker. If one day she decided to leave the CIA, she could have a very promising career as a cybersecurity expert. All she'd have to do is build a portfolio and launch her own website. Unfortunately, Jane is not very creative when it comes to designing. Luckily, she doesn't have to be. There is a fast, easy, and intuitive way to build a website with our sponsor,
Oh, here we
Odoo.
go.
Odoo is an all-in-one quick box CPU. I like. Jane is working at the base for a time now when she gets a phone call. Her superiors need her expertise at another location. She says goodbye to her colleagues, checks out of her hotel room, and buys a single malt whiskey with her remaining euros in the duty-free shop at the airport. Jane's next destination is Australia.
Oh my goodness, that'd be so cool. I actually would love that, just traveling around. Can you imagine you actually set up a house? You're like, you know what, I'm going to stay in Germany. Frankfurt seems like a nice place. Yeah, I'll just lay down some roots. Why not? Buy a house. Boom, next day, Australia. Oh, unlucky. I mean, you get some rental properties all over the place, but your taxes are going to be a mess. Oh my goodness. Do you think maybe CIA just don't pay taxes? How would that work?
Jane gets off the plane and walks to customs, and things do not go smoothly. One of the officers seems suspicious about her and selects Jane for secondary screening. But she is prepared. Agents like Jane are usually trained here, Camp Peary, or how most people in the CIA call it, the farm, a roughly 10,000-acre piece of land near Williamsburg, Virginia. It was established during World War II as a military training center. Later, it was transformed into a camp for Italian and German war prisoners. In 1951, the CIA took over and turned it into a secret spy school. Of course, not officially. In fact, the CIA has built an entire fake city. There are multiple houses and dormitories for students and staff. For training, the site has several shooting ranges.
That's actually kind of sick. You just live on site and you get your own little house while you're in the farm. Ooh, very scary. That's actually kind of cool though. Like you just see your classmates. It's like a little community. I mean, no contact with the outside world, I guess, but you know, you're being a CIA agent. What do you expect?
Ranges, boathouses at the river, driving courses, and an airfield.
When you say driving courses, I thought golf. I'm so cooked. Right. You come out of the farm with a 10 handicap, and then that's the qualification you need to be CIA. Yeah.
Students learn everything they need to know about life as a secret agent in the field, from basic weapons trainings all the way to the handling of explosives, how to evade pursuers, and field surveillance. Students practice how to infiltrate a border that is tightly guarded by watchtowers and police dogs. Enemy capture is simulated by kidnapping students from their dorm and interrogating them. There is even a mock prison where students learn how to deal with solitary confinement. If training needs to be even more hardcore, students are brought to Harvey Point.
Wait, so you part of training is literally solitary confinement. So you go in CIA training, you know, you're 10 weeks in, you can defuse bombs right with your eyes closed or something, and then they're like, right, yeah, next stage of training, sit here for 3 days, and you're literally sat in solitary confinement for like what, 7 days, a week, 2 weeks. It's so boring. I'd hate that. That would be the worst bit. I mean, I know, obviously it wouldn't be the worst bit, but it'd be the most boring bit. Just sit there going like, oh, right, okay, like wait my time out. You better still get paid for that, even though you're doing no work.
Jane is sitting with her colleagues in a casino in Alice Springs, a small town right in the heart of the Australian outback. There are a lot of Americans all around her, which is not unusual. Most of them work at Pine Gap, a nearby military base run by the Australian and US government. Jane and others are playing a weird American dice game called Craps when a group of Australian YouTubers join them. Together they drink.
Australian YouTubers. Oh, here we go. This is where it all goes crazy.
They laugh and maybe talk a bit too much about their work.
What's it like living here?
This guy doesn't get
The Americans in this casino are no ordinary soldiers, and Pine Gap is not your usual military base. Pine Gap is a top-secret spy facility.
What are you doing there?
No way. Hold on.
Roughly 1,000 people work at the so-called Joint Defense Facility, which is a quite misleading name, in fact. In its early years, Australians only worked as cooks, painters, or janitors. While today almost half the staff is Australian and the other half American, in reality the CIA and the NSA call the shots here. While Pine Gap was originally used as a defensive site to keep track of Soviet nuclear missiles during the Cold War, US intelligence quickly realized how useful this base could truly be. Today, it is the US's most important intelligence collection station in the world. There are 38 radar dishes all across the base. Many of them are enclosed in random, huge golf ball-like structures. They are built to hide and protect the antennas inside them. Most of these antennas communicate with US spy satellites, like Orion 3, 5, 7, and 9.
How does this guy know all this stuff? How does he know it's all declassified or leaked? Oh my goodness, I didn't realize. This is actually really interesting. Can you imagine if the YouTubers at the bar who work there literally just like spread a bunch, like leak a ton of information? It's like, oh, what do you do? Yeah, well, you know, basically we just spy on the German foreign minister's phone, like 24/7. I also get breakfast 3 times a day there because it's pretty good. You can just get breakfast 24/7. So I just get like 3 times a day, you know, it's whatever. What? What did you say you do for work?
Spy satellites are geosynchronous. They move in orbit with exactly the same speed as the Earth's rotation. This way the CIA can intercept almost all wireless communication from Europe, Africa, and Asia, 24/7. The immensely powerful NSA spy programs, Echelon and X-Keyscore, that Edward Snowden made public in 2013, are also operated from Pine Gap. These programs are used to systematically collect everything, from online chats to phone calls and mails. At the heart of the base sits the operations building. On a total of around 20,000 square meters, roughly the size of a small IKEA, the CIA, NSA, and other agencies.
What a comparison, the small IKEA. All right, yeah, we all know what that is. Yeah, good. I like that. I like that. That's a nice one.
Analyze all incoming intelligence data. Pine Gap played a vital role in America's war on terror. It provided real-time data for soldiers on the battlefield in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it was used to locate targets for US drone strikes, during which...
Oh my goodness, drone strikes in Afghanistan, 2001 to 18. Minimum confirmed strikes. Nearly 4,000 confirmed strikes. Oh my goodness, the amount of people killed is insane. That's actually really bad. Oh, I don't like those figures.
Civilians were killed. A very recent report indicates that Pine Gap intelligence may have assisted Israeli forces to attack targets in Gaza. For that reason, a group of protesters tried to block the entrance to Pine Gap at the end of last year. Pine Gap has been criticized by many different groups before. Some people have even managed to enter the facility. More recently, these Australian YouTubers, for example. Be sure to check out their video. It inspired us to make this video.
Snuck into a CIA base on the Aussie outback. Oh my gosh, we're definitely watching that. That first guy looks like Oppenheimer. That's... Oh my days.
Be more hyped. Did you hear that? It sounded like bombs going off. No.
Jane has seen places few people in the world have ever been to. Covert hacking bases in the heart of Europe, training facilities in the US, and spy stations in Australia. She knows many of the CIA's secrets, like the fact that in 2000, an American soldier from Pine Gap reportedly started a secret swingers club in Alice Spring, which held wild sex parties. But there are places that not even Jane will ever have access to.
Black sites.
On September 6, 2006, President George Bush admitted what many people had already suspected.
So I'm announcing today that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Abu Zubaydah, Ramzi bin al-Shibh, and 11 other terrorists in CIA custody have been transferred to the United States Naval Base at Guantanamo Bay.
In this speech, Bush acknowledged that the CIA was running a network of secret prisons all across the world, so-called black sites. The most well-known CIA prison is Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. The prison was built for international terrorist suspects. Just 4 months after the attacks on 9/11.
Wait, so it's an American prison in Cuba? It's not even in their own country? That's kind of rough. Cuba's getting shafted. Oh my goodness. Unlucky Cuba.
The first 20 people arrived. But Guantanamo is no regular prison. In most cases, there are no official charges, no trials, and no formal convictions. A total of 800 people were brought here. Some have been exposed to enhanced interrogation techniques.
Okay, torture, basically. They've been tortured. That is so rough. Oh my goodness. You normally think like, oh, okay, been captured by the Americans, at least they believe in rights and, they're good people. Nope, straight into the torture chamber and then no trial, straight into prison. You're good. Damn, unlucky boys.
Was commonly known as torture. Often, the CIA did not have clear evidence on their inmates.
Wait, what? So they literally just took people in there and that was it? You weren't even... Oh my goodness. That makes it way worse, actually. I thought they were like confirmed terrorists.
The exact number and locations of black sites are still unknown. Some were run by foreign secret services. At least 10 of these prisons were built and operated by the CIA. Over 50 governments participated in some way. If the CIA suspected someone of being a terrorist, they sometimes became part of the agency's extraordinary rendition program, or simply kidnapping. The suspect was illegally shackled, blindfolded, and transported via plane to one of the CIA's black sites. Some of these prisons were allegedly planned from the CIA base in Frankfurt, while the farm was allegedly involved in rendition flights. One of the most important prisons of the CIA was here, on a Polish military base near the small village of Stare Gikute. Inside this two-story village...
I mean, look, I don't know how I feel about this. They're taking people illegally, but they're literally terrorists. That's kind of crazy. The illegal bit is actually insane. Like, I don't know. This is a really 50-50 toss. Actually, I'm interested to hear what people think. Like, drop in the comments what you think. Is it a good or a bad thing what the CIA is doing right now?
Villa, the CIA built one of its very first prisons after 9/11, codename Quartz. The CIA tortured multiple suspects here. As compensation for using the place, the CIA paid at least $15 million and outfitted the base with $300,000 worth of security cameras. After many years of denial, in 2014, the Polish government finally admitted that it hosted the secret CIA prison. Since then, the European Court of Human Rights has found multiple European countries responsible for letting the CIA violate several human rights in prisons on their territory. In 2009, President Obama ordered for all black sites to be closed. But to this day, Guantanamo Bay still holds roughly 30 inmates.
So they're not even all closed. He just made it like a public thing. He's like, oh, guys, we're gonna close every base, and then they stay open. Okay. The human rights violations, obviously, terrible. Like, I'm afraid I can't get my head around that one. I don't think I could square that one in my mind. But definitely an interesting video. That's so interesting. I knew the CIA were crazy. Didn't realize they were that crazy though. Whoa. Americans, wow. I mean, CIA are meant to be the best in the world in what they do in terms of foreign intelligence. So, wow. Yeah. Interesting vid. Thank you. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. Wow.